The silent Vanguard. For 3,000 years, the Navi Empire had ruled the stars with cold precision. Their warships prowled through the void between worlds, sleek predators with hulls of gleaming metal and weapons that could reduce planets to ash. They had conquered 1,000 civilizations, absorbed their technologies, and left those who resisted as cautionary tales etched into asteroid belts, where habitable worlds once spun. Admiral Jrex stood on the command deck of the unyielding Dominion, his flagship and pride of the Navi fleet. His scaled skin reflected the dim blue light of the tactical displays surrounding him. 4 arms folded across his armored chest as he studied the holographic projection of a small, unassuming solar system at the edge of the Orion Arm. Preliminary scans complete, Admiral reported his second-in-command, Sub-Commander Tetrax. Third planet shows signs of primitive spacefaring civilization. Rudimentary satellite network, minimal orbital defenses, handful of small research outposts on their moon and neighboring planet. Shrex's vertical pupils narrowed as he zoomed in on the blue-green world. Designation. The natives call it Earth, Admiral. Species self-identifies as human. Assessment indicates technological development approximately 2 centuries behind Navi standard. No evidence of faster-than-light capability. The Admiral let out a dismissive click from his throat sacs. Another primitive world for the taking. Prepare the standard first contact package. We'll give them the usual choice, submission or demonstration. Compliance. Admiral. Tetrax bowed slightly, mandibles twitching in what passed for a smile among their kind. Should we deploy a full battle group? No, Jrex waved a clawed hand dismissively. Send a single cruiser. The inevitable conquest should be more than sufficient for these humans. Far below, on the supposedly primitive planet Earth, Director Helena Chen stood in the heart of Olympus Station, a vast underground complex buried deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. Around her, hundreds of engineers, scientists, and military personnel worked with quiet efficiency, their focus absolute. Before her stretched the construction bay, a cavernous space large enough to contain multiple aircraft carriers. But what occupied that space was no carrier. The vessel that dominated the chamber was unlike anything humanity had ever built before. Status report on the Odysius, Commander Foster, she asked, her voice steady despite the weight of responsibility she carried. Commander James Foster, technical director of the Olympus project, consulted his tablet. Final systems check complete, Director. Quantum shield matrix is stable. Fusion cascade is running at optimal levels, and the gravitational displacement drive is green across all parameters. Chen nodded, allowing herself a moment to take in the massive vessel. The Odysius was humanity's masterpiece, the culmination of 70 years of reverse engineering alien technology recovered from crashed scout ships and intercepted transmissions. Its sleek hull appeared almost matte black, absorbing light rather than reflecting it, a product of the metamaterial coating that masked its energy signature. And the crew? She asked. Captain Reynolds and his team have completed their final simulation. They've logged over 10,000 hours in virtual combat scenarios. They're as ready as they'll ever be. Chen turned from the viewport to face the assembled leadership team. Representatives from every major nation stood before her, their faces grim with determination. Unlike the fractured past of human history, the discovery of alien civilizations had united Earth in ways previously unimaginable. Ladies and gentlemen, long-range sensors have detected a Navi battle cruiser on approach to our system. Intelligence suggests this is an advanced scout for a much larger force. She paused, letting the implications sink in. We've prepared for this moment for decades. Operation Silent Vanguard is now active. Admiral William Chen, Helena's brother and commander of Earth's unified defense forces, stepped forward. The Odysseus will deploy within the hour. The Navi think they're encountering a primitive civilization ripe for conquest. They have no idea what's waiting for them. Helena nodded. Exactly. As far as they know, we're a pre-FTL species with rudimentary space capabilities. Our orbital defenses are intentionally outdated decoys. Our communications are deliberately designed to appear primitive. The Odysius remains our ace in the hole." Colonel Takahashi, head of military intelligence, cleared his throat. "Director, are we certain the Odysseus's stealth systems will mask it from Navari sensors? Their detection technology is formidable. The quantum metamaterial hull has been tested against recovered Navari sensor technology," Commander Foster interjected. "As long as the ship maintains passive systems only, it should be effectively invisible until it chooses to reveal itself." Helena's gaze returned to the massive battleship. "Humanity gets one chance at this. If we show weakness, the Navari will eradicate us and strip mine our planet. If we show too much strength too early, they'll bring their entire armada down on us before we're ready. The Odysseus is designed to send a message," Admiral Chen added. "A message that says humanity is not to be trifled with." Captain Marcus Reynolds stood on the bridge of the Odysius, his crew at their stations around him. Unlike the sterile, utilitarian designs of traditional naval vessels, the Odysseus's bridge was a marvel of ergonomic design and advanced technology. Holographic displays floated around each station, responding to the subtle hand gestures of the operators. "Final pre-launch diagnostics complete, Captain," reported Commander Aisha Karim, his executive officer. "All systems nominal." Reynolds nodded, feeling the weight of history on his shoulders. For 5 years, he had trained for this moment, leading his crew through countless simulations and drills. Now they would face the real thing, an alien warship with technology centuries beyond what humanity publicly displayed. "Comms, what's the status of the Navari vessel?" he asked. Lieutenant Commander Hernandez consulted her displays. "Navari cruiser has entered the outer solar system, sir, designating as Contact Alpha. They're transmitting on all frequencies. Looks like standard Navari first contact protocol based on our intelligence. Let Earth Command handle the communications," Reynolds ordered. "Our mission is clear. Observe, remain undetected, and be ready to intervene only if absolutely necessary." "Aye, sir," Hernandez acknowledged. Reynolds addressed the bridge crew. "Ladies and gentlemen, I don't need to tell you what's at stake here. We represent the best of humanity, our ingenuity, our determination, our unwillingness to bow before any threat. The Navari are coming to conquer what they think is an easy target. Our job is to disabuse them of that notion, decisively." The Navari cruiser Inevitable Conquest dropped out of FTL at the edge of Earth's solar system, its sensors immediately sweeping the surrounding space. Captain Freilich stood imperiously on his command deck, watching as his crew began cataloging the primitive human infrastructure. "Pathetic," he muttered, mandibles clicking in amusement. Their most advanced satellites would barely qualify as children's toys in the Empire. His tactical officer, Lieutenant Krell, reported from her station. "Minimal defensive capabilities detected, Captain. Their weapon systems appear to be based on primitive chemical propellants and rudimentary directed energy. Begin broadcasting the standard Imperial greeting," Vrelick ordered. "Let's see how quickly these humans capitulate when they understand what they're facing." The cruiser's communication array powered up, sending a carefully crafted message in all known frequencies. The translation would make the Empire's position clear: submit to Navari rule or face annihilation. In a United Nations emergency session in New York, representatives from Earth's nations gathered to receive the Navari transmission. The message appeared on the main screen, translated by the algorithms developed from decades of intercepting alien communications. "Attention inhabitants of the third planet. This is Captain Vrelick of the Navi Empire vessel, Inevitable Conquest. Your world has been claimed by the eternal Empire of Navarre. You will immediately surrender all sovereignty and prepare to receive our representatives, who will oversee your integration into the Empire. Resistance is inadvisable and will result in demonstration of superior force. You have one planetary rotation to comply." United Nations Secretary-General Amara Okafor stood calmly, addressing the assembly. "As we have prepared for, We will follow Protocol Omega. We will respond with apparent confusion and fear, requesting additional time to consider their demands. This should give the Odysius opportunity to gather tactical data on their vessel. In orbit around Jupiter, hidden in the massive radiation belt of the gas giant, the Odysius drifted silently, its advanced sensors gathering every piece of information about the Navi cruiser. Inside the ship's tactical center, Commander White analyzed the incoming data. Their shields operate on a rotating frequency matrix, just as our intelligence suggested. White reported to Captain Reynolds. Weapon systems include particle lances, gravitic torpedoes, and mass drivers, all consistent with known Navi technology. Reynolds nodded grimly. Any weaknesses? Their shield harmonics shift predictably. If we can time our weapons fire to match the pattern, we could potentially bypass their defenses entirely. White paused, studying another display. Captain, they're powering up their main cannon. I think they're preparing to give Earth a demonstration sooner than expected. Reynolds' jaw tightened. Prep for emergency burn. If they fire on any population center, we intervene immediately. On the inevitable conquest, Captain Frelich grew impatient with the humans delaying tactics. These creatures think they can stall for time. Prepare the main cannon. Target their largest military installation, the one they call Pentagon. A precision strike should properly motivate them. As the Navi cruiser's weapon systems powered up, targeting Earth's military headquarters, they remained completely unaware of the massive human battleship silently accelerating from Jupiter's orbit on an intercept course, its revolutionary drive leaving no detectable signature in space-time. The moment of reckoning was approaching faster than anyone had anticipated. The reckoning. Captain Frelich of the inevitable conquest stood with his forearms clasped behind his back, mandibles clicking in irritation as he watched Earth's pathetic attempts at diplomacy play out on his view screen. The humans were stalling, obviously, a common tactic among primitive species facing their first contact with the Navi Empire. Enough, he finally declared, cutting off the transmission mid-sentence. These creatures clearly need motivation to understand their position. Tactical, prepare a demonstration strike on their military command center. Lieutenant Krell's fingers danced across her console. Target locked, Captain. Particle lance charged at 30%, sufficient to destroy their facility while minimizing collateral damage. Excellent. Fire when ready. The massive particle lance beneath the cruiser's hull began to glow with blue-white energy, drawing power from the ship's antimatter reactor. On Earth, early warning systems detected the energy buildup, triggering alarms in military installations worldwide. In the Odysius's tactical center, Commander Wei's console flashed urgent warnings. Captain, energy spike detected from the Navi vessel. They're preparing to fire on Washington, D.C. Captain Reynolds didn't hesitate. Execute emergency burn. Full power to engines, battle stations. The massive human battleship suddenly flared to life, its revolutionary gravitational displacement drive warping space-time around it. The Odysius accelerated at speeds that would have liquefied a conventional crew, protected by its inertial dampening fields. In moments, the ship crossed the vast distance from Jupiter's orbit to Earth, appearing seemingly from nowhere directly between the Navi cruiser and Earth. On the inevitable conquest's bridge, alarms suddenly blared as sensors detected a massive object materializing directly in their weapons path. Impossible. Lieutenant Krell gasped, mandibles flaring in shock. Captain, a vessel has appeared between us and the target. What? Frelich snarled, stalking to the sensor display. That's impossible. Our scans showed no such capability in there. His words died as the tactical display revealed the true size and configuration of the human vessel that had intercepted them. It was massive, nearly 3 times the length of his own cruiser, and unlike anything in the Navi database. Its hull seemed to drink in light rather than reflect it, making its edges difficult to define even with advanced sensors. Origin, he demanded. Krell worked frantically at her console. Unknown. Captain, it doesn't match any known configuration in our database, but the energy signature appears to be human. Preposterous. Vrelix spat. These primitives couldn't possibly. Incoming transmission, interrupted his communications officer. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a human in a dark uniform adorned with simple insignia. Behind him stood a bridge crew at various stations, working with practiced efficiency. Navi vessel, this is Captain Marcus Reynolds of the Earth Defense Force vessel Odysius. You are in violation of sovereign Earth space and have demonstrated hostile intent against our planet. Power down your weapons immediately and withdraw to the edge of our solar system, or we will be forced to respond. Vrelix felt his throat sacs inflate with indignation. This is some kind of deception. These humans cannot possibly possess such technology. He turned to his tactical officer. Scan that vessel. It must be a hologram or some primitive trick. Krell ran the scans, her scaled skin paling visibly as the results came in. Captain, it's real. Energy readings are off the scale. Their shield technology appears to be. I've never seen anything like it. It's some kind of quantum matrix configuration. Vrelix's confidence wavered for the first time. Recalibrate the particle lance. Target this. Odysseus. Let's see how real their vessel truly is. On the Odysseus's bridge, Captain Reynolds watched the Navi cruiser's weapon systems reorient toward his ship. They're targeting us, Captain, reported Lieutenant Commander Choi from Tactical. Particle lance charging. Looks like they're bringing it to full power this time. Reynolds nodded calmly. As expected. Shield status. Quantum shields at full capacity. Commander Karim replied. Frequency modulators are tracking their weapon's energy signature in real time. Weapons? Graviton lance primed and ready, sir. Targeting solutions locked on their primary reactor and propulsion systems. Reynolds took a deep breath. We'll give them one more chance. Open the channel again. The communications officer nodded, and Reynolds addressed the Navi captain once more. Captain Vrelix, I strongly advise against this course of action. Your scans have surely informed you that our vessel possesses technology beyond what you anticipated. We have no desire for conflict, but we will defend our world. Power down your weapons, and let's discuss this like civilized species. Vrelix's only response was to cut the transmission. Seconds later, the inevitable conquest's particle lance fired, a blindingly bright beam of concentrated energy streaking toward the Odysius. The human bridge crew remained calm as the blast approached, trusting in their ship's revolutionary defenses. The beam struck the Odysseus's quantum shields, and something extraordinary happened. Rather than dispersing against the shield in the conventional manner, the energy seemed to flow around the human vessel like water around a stone, redirected by the quantum fields into a harmless spiral that dissipated into space. Inside the Odysius, the crew felt nothing more than a slight vibration. Shield integrity at 97%, reported Commander Karim, unable to keep a note of satisfaction from her voice. Minimal power drain. The recursive energy distribution system is working exactly as designed. On the Navi cruiser, Vrelix stared in disbelief as his ship's most powerful weapon, capable of cracking a small moon, had virtually no effect on the human vessel. Impossible, he whispered, all four hands gripping his command console. Recalibrate and fire again. Maximum power. Before his crew could comply, the Odysius responded. From recessed ports along its hull, pulses of shimmering energy emerged, not beams or projectiles, but concentrated knots of distorted spacetime that moved with eerie precision toward the Navi cruiser. Graviton torpedoes away, Choi announced on the Odysius's bridge, targeted at their primary shield generators and weapon systems only. Reynolds nodded grimly. We're not here to destroy them, just to send a message. The Graviton torpedoes struck the Navi cruiser with surgical precision. Where they impacted, spacetime itself seemed to briefly fold, creating microscopic singularities that collapsed instantly. but not before shredding the targeted systems at the quantum level. The inevitable conquest's shields flickered and died. Its main weapon collapsed in on itself, and its engines sputtered to emergency power. Inside the Navi vessel, chaos erupted as systems failed across the ship. Emergency lighting bathed the bridge in blood-red illumination, and damage reports flooded in from all decks. Shield generators destroyed, Krell reported, her voice shaking. Particle lance collapsed. Engines at 15% capacity. We're defenseless, Captain. Vrlik stared at the view screen where the imposing form of the Odysius hung against the blackness of space, seemingly untouched by his ship's most powerful attack. For the first time in his long career, he felt something unfamiliar. Fear. How? He demanded of no one in particular. How could these primitives possess such technology? On the Odysius, Reynolds stood from his command chair. Open a channel to the Navi vessel. When Vrlik's face appeared on screen, Reynolds spoke clearly and firmly. Your vessel is disabled, but not destroyed. We could have annihilated you entirely. But that is not our way. The people of Earth have no interest in conquest or empire, only in living free from those who would subjugate us. He paused, letting his words sink in. You will return to your empire with this message. Earth is off limits. We have watched the stars for decades, learning from the transmissions of 1,000 worlds. We know of the Navi's conquests and their methods. We prepared accordingly. Vrlik's mandibles quivered with a mixture of rage and humiliation. This deception will not stand. The Empire will send a battle fleet that will reduce your world to ash. Reynolds smiled slightly. The Odysius is not our only ship, Captain Vrlik. It is merely the first we chose to reveal. Our sensors have been tracking 12 other Navi scout vessels in neighboring sectors. Perhaps you'd like us to demonstrate our capabilities to them as well. Our fleet can reach any of them within minutes. This was a calculated bluff. The Odysius was indeed humanity's first and only advanced battleship of its kind, though others were under construction. But the Navi had no way of knowing this, and the demonstration of technology already far exceeded what they believed possible. On his bridge, Vrlik received urgent communications from his tactical officers. Somehow, the humans were broadcasting directional energy signatures that perfectly matched the quantum signatures of Navi vessels, signatures that should have been impossible for any non-Navi to replicate. Their sensors indeed showed what appeared to be multiple human vessels moving at impossible speeds throughout the sector. The Navi captain's resolve crumbled. We will withdraw, he managed, his voice thick with defeat, and deliver your message. Excellent, Reynolds replied. We'll provide you with a small tractor beam to help you reach the edge of our system, given your engine damage. Safe travels, Captain. As the transmission ended, cheers erupted across the Odysius's bridge. Reynolds allowed his crew a moment of celebration before raising his hand for silence. The real work begins now, he said soberly. The Navi will return, and in greater numbers, but we've bought ourselves valuable time. Time to build our fleet, to perfect our technology, and to prepare humanity for its place among the stars, not as conquerors, but as defenders of freedom. In the weeks that followed, the story of the Odysseus's triumph spread throughout the galaxy via the Navi Empire's own communication networks. The humiliation of a single Navi cruiser, thought to be invincible, defeated by a supposedly primitive species, sent shockwaves through the established powers. On countless subjugated worlds, whispers of hope began to circulate. If humans could stand against the Navi, perhaps others could too. Resistance movements gained new followers. Conquered species began to look toward Earth as a symbol of defiance. In the grand halls of the Navi Imperial Palace, Emperor Zorthrax raged at the failure of Captain Vrlik, demanding immediate retribution. But his military advisors urged caution. The humans had revealed technology that shouldn't have been possible for their development level. What other surprises might they have waiting? And on Earth, in the vast construction bays of Olympus Station, Workers labored around the clock as the keel was laid for the second vessel of the Odysius class, the Prometheus. Above it hung the simple banner bearing the words that had become humanity's unofficial motto among the stars. Underestimate us at your peril. In distant sectors of space, other alien civilizations received the news with varying reactions. Some saw humans as potential allies against Navi oppression. Others viewed them as a new threat to the established order. But all agreed on one thing. Humanity had announced its presence on the galactic stage in spectacular fashion, and nothing would ever be the same again. The stars, once seemingly beyond humanity's reach, now beckoned with new possibilities. A species dismissed as primitive had revealed itself to be anything but. And throughout the galaxy, the laughter that had once greeted the mention of humans died away, replaced by a newfound respect, and in some quarters, a healthy fear. Humanity had arrived, and the universe would never be the same.